my thing.
Yeah, excited. Really tremendous. Yeah, so excited, you know. Seeing all you here, it's like wild. I'm enlightened. Have you ever been enlightened? I don't think so. But, you know, so I know everything, and, you know, I know how dark it is out there, and you don't hardly know anything about reality. The thing that I'm, you know, most concerned with, you know, these days is something about the origin of life on planet Earth. These are the kind of things I think about. I'm sort of like, you know, that guy on that TV show, I don't know if you ever watched the show, The Big Bang, because I went to this party last night, and I found myself talking to this woman who was just wanted to, you know, be introduced and talk to me about nothing. And then I start prattling off about, you know, these things about artificial intelligence and the origin of life, and asking a question like, do you know what a Google is? The reference was to big numbers, and then I want to go into my big number routine, like what are the big numbers that are involved in the world? And of course nobody knows, you know, what a Google is, which I find rather striking. You know, this word, it's in the common language, but no one has any idea what it means. Of course, not to say it's necessary to know what it means. I'll just tell you what it means. You know, just simply, it's like number 1 with 100 zeros following it. So that's not something you can say. You can't just say that number. So they made up this thing called a Google. But that's not the largest number in the world. There are numbers even considerably larger than that, like a Googleplex. What did you say?
Google and one.
Google. I like that. Sure, just tack on a 1, dude. You got a bigger number. I'm talking about, you know, these are numbers that refer to, you know, certain scientific theories like string theory. String theory held sway, you know, in the world, especially in the United States, over the last 10, 15 years. When I followed it, you know, and all the, you know, what you might term logic of it, but it kind of fell apart. And then I saw just a fascinating little episode on The Big Bang where the guy is sitting at lunch with his buddies, and then the boss of the scientific institution, wherever they work, comes in with this kid. He's like an Asian kid, but he's only like 15 or 16 years old. And he starts talking to the guy whose name is Sheldon, who is supposed to be, you know, the brainiac of all brainiacs. And he kind of puts him down. You know, he tells him, because Sheldon's area of research is literally in string theory. And the kid tells him that whole thing has, you know, worn out, and it's no longer a viable, you know, scientific area of pursuit. So I agree with that too, and that's not really going to help you get enlightened or anything like that. Actually, I could enlighten anyone. I try mightily with my son often, you know, to enlighten him, but he's resistant, and so I found out that that's really, you know, a large part of the whole problem. People are resistant to, in effect, the truth, which I've mentioned before about the truth, you know, that it's hard to buy, it's hard to sell, it's like elusive commodity. But there is, fortunately for us all, truth, you know, in this world. But there's so much obscuring that it's you can't find it. So it's the needle in the haystack, as it were. You know, this little tiny thing amongst a whole stack of bad stuff, like useless information that the world is just chock-a-block full. And I'm afraid all this useless information is confusing people. I heard a story a little bit today. A guy said he was a great admirer of Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan is a famous... yeah, I can imagine, you know, like, this guy's banging on that pipe too hard. Carl Sagan, you know, in my view, you know, is a moron. He's a fucking idiot. And the principal thing that the idiots all believe, and I think I've mentioned this before, is about, you know, extraterrestrial intelligence, otherwise known as ETI, and then there's also SETI. And this is actually an area of scientific research and concern. SETI is Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, usually done by, we saw the movie, Contact. Anybody see that movie?
Wrap it up.
Yeah. What did you say? See, I need my son to remind me, you know, like, of so many things, you know, but one of the keys is, like, you know, how inept and unable to communicate, you know, that I am, because I make all this huge effort and I get, you know, very emotionally, you know, worked up about, you know, trying to communicate, and then you're frustrated, and so what I wind up doing is like screaming. That's all I do is like, you know, start screaming. Now, how effective is that? That's not effective either. So I'm just, you know, kind of out of it. But back to extraterrestrials. I have to tell you, first law of enlightenment, there are no extraterrestrials whatsoever. And I will guarantee this. I mean, I will literally give you a written guarantee. There are no extraterrestrials anywhere and never have been on this planet. No more than there has been the interference of God. God does not interfere in the affairs of men. I know I've said that before, but it bears repeating. I feel very sorry for anybody who believes that God is going to help them. I mean, there are mitigating, you know, things about this whole, you know, thing about God. I would tell you something very simple. God actually dwells within you. You have this spark of divinity within you. I think of that more of the animating spirit that descends into the, you know, at the moment of conception, it enters